Welcome to everyone. I'm super excited about this broadcast, and I want you to quickly jump on board and join me for this very, very powerful interview that I'm going to have with someone who is influential in an industry that many of us might not know much about. We see it, but we don't understand it. And I pray that today you will gain an understanding of what pageantry is all about. So if you are on and live with us right now, I want you to please share this feed with your friends. I want you to tag and comment. I would like you to go onto WhatsApp and quickly tell your friends, maybe there is a lady, a young woman or someone who is more mature and she wonders if there's still greatness that can come from her life. Maybe you yourself have gone through the most in your life. And today I believe God is sending you this feed to give you hope, to tell you that there's a purpose with your life. And even for those who are watching the rebroadcast or listening to the podcast, I want to welcome you and say to you that your life will never be the same again when you submit and you bow your knee to the Lord. So thank you so much. And without further ado, I want to bring on my guest for today. She is a beautiful, strong woman who is unashamed of her values that she stands for. And she is standing for righteousness and to uplift women and people all around her. And she is none other than Anel Deswardt. She is also the National Director of Mrs. Universe in South Africa. Anel, it's fantastic for me to be with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chantell. It's really an honor joining you today.
Fantastic. So Anel, you are the National Director of Mrs. Universe South Africa. So maybe you can just give us some clarity on that. So I believe then there's the Mrs. Universe pageantry, and then does every country have their leadership or their directorship?
Yes, that's correct. So my company, Commonwealth Pageant South Africa, is a license holder for the Mrs. Universe South Africa pageant in South Africa. So there are countries across the world that do take part in the international pageant.
Fantastic. So Anel, I saw that your journey actually started not as only the directorship, but you were part of this. And then in 2012, you were Mrs. Commonwealth International. Please tell us about that interesting journey.
Yes, that's correct. My pageant journey started 10 years ago. I actually stumbled across the advertisement for Mrs. Commonwealth International to go and represent South Africa, and I decided what a great opportunity. At that stage, I never took part in any pageant, and I decided let me try this. So I entered, and I got chosen, and then I went to London and took part in it. So I won the title and I came back, and then I decided to start all the Commonwealth pageants in South Africa. And then I also started the company Commonwealth Pageants South Africa.
Wow. So was that opportunity there? Was it just a void and you saw opportunity and you jumped for it? Or how did it come that you actually think that you could start this that you could become the national director? How did that come about, from taking part to then starting the company and giving other women this opportunity?
Chantell, it was a matter of when I came back, I always wanted to start a business. And I saw that as a great opportunity because the Commonwealth pageants was not in South Africa yet, none of the pageants. And I decided, let me start the business, because we run all our pageants. The business actually runs all the pageants. So that's very important to me. It was always important that we're not a charity. We don't run our pageants from a charity. We make a difference in society through our charity work, but the foundation of the pageants always had to be a business. So that was quite important to me. And then I decided, but I always wanted to start a business. And that came about when I started in the business. And then we started with the first pageants in 2014 at the Lyric Theatre in Johannesburg with Miss Teen Miss and Mrs. Commonwealth South Africa.
Miss Teen Miss. All right. So currently there is a Mrs. Universe that's ongoing, and I believe they're in their semi-finalist stage. So how many people go through to the semi-finals and then to the finals? If you can just give us a broad insight to this pageant.
Yes, like I said, we have the license for the Mrs. Universe South Africa. We chose 24 semi-finalists this year, and we're going through to the finals. On finalist level, we will be choosing a top 16 group of beautiful, fabulous, phenomenal women. So they just started their journey. They, like I said, on semi-finals level at the moment, and our grand finale will be taking place in May 2023.
So May 2023. All right. So for people who are for the first time they hear about Mrs. Universe, so is it Mrs. Universe or is it Mrs. Commonwealth? Which is and what is the holding company, and which one is the one that you entered to?
That's a good question. Yes, I started the company Commonwealth Pageant South Africa in 2013, and we started off with the Commonwealth pageants, and we ran those pageants until 2019. Then the pandemic came, and we started again last year with the Mrs. Universe South Africa pageant. So we will definitely bring on the rest of the pageants from next year again. So the company actually, runs all the pageants. So at the moment, we have the Mrs. Universe South Africa pageant running.
Fantastic. Now you hit a nerve there when it came to the pandemic, and I was thinking, how did that impact this industry? What happened? How did you still keep your company afloat, or keep pageantry alive during the 2020-2021 period?
Chantell, yes, it was quite challenging. I cannot lie. I think for everyone in business, it was a very, very challenging period. We had to be quite flexible in how we ran our businesses and day-to-day running of a business. So what we did, since the pandemic started in 2020, we went online with our pageants, and we didn't have any live events until this year, February 2022. So we did everything online, and at that stage I just decided I'm just doing my Mrs. Universe South Africa pageant until the pandemic is over, and then we can start adding the other pageants back into our portfolio.
Thank the Lord, it's open right now. All right, so I really want to get or delve into who is Anel Deswardt firstly. And then we can talk about pageantry and maybe the stigma around it and what it is about and how you impact women and the society or the community around you. So when you entered way back in 2012, or you won the 2012-2013 period, and you were Mrs. Commonwealth, you said that you want to promote community quality of life and improve that area. Were you able to achieve that in that year?
Yes, at that stage, I took part, or I helped out at a charity in Soweto. So as a title holder, I was, part of the Ikageng charity in Soweto. So we made a difference there. But when I went on to start the business, the slogan of our business is bringing wealth to the community. And that is still very important to me, that we still live out that slogan. So through our pageants and our projects, and especially our contestants, they make a difference within the community. So part of all the pageants will always be community work that they have to do as part of their scoring. And then also for the company's got its own charities where the company makes a difference in the community. So it's definitely something that is very close to my heart. And I think all pageants these days do have that charity component. It is what pageantry is actually all about. So yes, it's about self-growth, it's about self-development, it's about going onto this fabulous journey, and you can win an international title. But in the heart of all pageants is definitely community work. And that is, I think we have achieved that over the years. All our pageants contributed substantially to communities and to charities across South Africa since 2014. And we hope we can definitely continue doing that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that at the heart of it is actually giving back to the community, to uplift. So I don't know if it was, I saw Rolene Strauss, who was obviously Miss South Africa, was it 2014? I saw that she spoke a lot about beauty with purpose. So I don't know if that slogan, beauty with purpose, is connected to Miss South Africa, or if that's just something that's being said. But that's the first time that I actually thought about the fact that you have been given this beauty and you work on that and you develop yourself, but it's to give back to the community. Why have you been given this? And I was actually thinking about Queen Esther in the Bible, who had that beauty, and she was placed in a position of authority for a specific purpose. And that's what I love to see coming forth with pageantry. So when it comes to these organizations that works with you, how do you guys choose as a company the organizations or NGOs or whatever that you're going to work with for the coming year? Or do you have set ones that you work with all the time?
In the past, we had set ones for the Commonwealth pageants. When we do run the Commonwealth pageants, we had set ones. Mrs. Commonwealth South Africa contributed towards breast cancer. So Pink Drive, we always partnered with Pink Drive on the Mrs. Commonwealth South Africa pageant. With the Mrs. Universe South Africa pageant, it's about domestic violence and abuse. So that is our platform and our advocacy. So our contestants, they need to make a difference or partner with charities who assist women who have been abused or children who have been abused, and then the pageant as well. So the pageant from the company side, we also contribute, or we partner with a specific charity and NGO that assist victims of domestic violence and abuse. And in roundabout end November, we will announce the pageants charity for the 2022 and 2023 year. And then our contestants, they also have to make a difference. So the pageants do have a different advocacy or a different cause that they are where they want to make a difference within our company, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is just so insightful, because I can just see how it has this ripple effect where it starts with pageantry, and that's what many people see, but how you're actually leaving a footprint in our country and beyond. And this is what the series is all about. We're talking here on the process of becoming a person of value, but then when a person of value stands their ground, take what God has entrusted to them, then it becomes the process of becoming valuable in your sphere of influence, in your community, in your society, in your country, and globally. And I'm so glad that it firstly took you taking that step of saying, listen, this is something that I can do for myself. And then God, I believe he stirred that notion, he planted that seed, and today you are impacting or helping others becoming influential. So maybe I can ask you, Anel, what is one of the greatest things that you would like to see left as a legacy through your life?
I want to come in there. I actually want to go a little bit back, Chantell, if I may. When you mentioned that pageantry, we need to make a difference. I also believe that beauty is also a gift from God. And that is something that's never really been spoken about.
Yes.
God gave us gifts and talents, and we have to use it. So whether it's your beauty, becoming a model or a beauty queen or a title holder, or you're a great businesswoman, whatever it might be, we've been given gifts and talents, and we need to use that for the greater good of the community or in your country. So that's definitely something that's very close to my heart. I think that's also quite important in pageantry these days. Is making that difference, but also you've been given the opportunity and you've been given a platform, and it's also how you're going to use that platform going forward. And then if we think about legacy, I think in my case, while I'm still in the process of becoming, like your podcast is called, I think we can't. We all have dreams, what we want to achieve, but I think when you look at the end of your life, maybe then you can say the legacy you wanted to leave. But I think while in the process, in my case, I would say definitely to grow the community of women taking part in pageantry, to grow the sisterhood in pageantry, and also to make a difference to the greater community. That is pretty much, I would say, the legacy that one would like to leave, is to impact someone else's life. And as long as you can impact someone else's life, then I think you already have achieved. Even if it's one person, you pretty much achieved that would probably be the legacy that you leave behind. But it's about impacting on a daily basis And life, as we know, is not always easy. It's very challenging. So it's to support each other, to be there for each other, not only your own path or your own journey in life, but we have to support each other. And mentoring is also a very important part of pageantry. You cannot expect, contestants to, or even the charities that we're working with. We need to mentor. We need to be there for them. We need to support. So if I can think about legacy, I think it will definitely be, supporting, mentoring, to impact someone else's life.
Let's talk about mentoring for a moment, because to some people, mentoring and coaching and things like that is also a foreign concept. It's quite big, I think, in other countries, and now it's gaining momentum. And in South Africa, people are realizing that you need a mentor. Sometimes we go through, or most of us go through, you go through trials, you go through tribulations, you are exposed to things in your growing up years, and then you need to be emotionally healed from those things. But I think our traditional mindset was you either have to go to, you get help, or you're depressed and you pop a pill or whatever, but the character needs to develop. You need to get to grow from that experience, forgive, and all of those things, the spiritual side, but then your character needs to develop. And I'm thinking also about the scripture that the word says that older women teach the younger women, so that we know, because automatically, if you're young, you don't know how to be a wife, you don't know how to be a businesswoman, you don't know necessarily how to work with your finances, how to advance in certain areas. So mentoring is so important. And how did mentoring first become a realization or something important in your own life? And how do you now set that in motion with the people in the pageant?
Chantell, when I started my business in 2013, and when I took part in Mrs. Commonwealth International, to tell you the truth, I didn't have a mentor. So I was just that type of person. I just go out and I do my own thing. I've always been like that. I like being a leader. I never ever approached any mentors. But then as I went on to my journey in the business side of things, I realized it's actually quite important to have a mentor, because they coach you and they help you. And it's actually very important these days to have a mentor. Life is not just, go smooth sailing. And if you have someone that can guide you through it, whether it's a pageant, whether it's business, whether it's your own life, it will really, really assist you. And you can actually reach your goals just so much quicker if you've got that mentor. And you're right, in South Africa, it's not a big thing. That's why we also try through our pageants to bring in our mentors and to, I'd always say, encourage our contestants to contact the mentors, get a mentor on board, because you don't know everything in life when you started out. Even if you're young, or or in your 30s and you're entering a pageant, you need someone that can guide you along the way. It will really help you in your journey. And like you said, it will also assist people on their mental health when you've got a mentor, because you have to talk to someone when things do get tough. You need to speak out. You need to talk to someone. And it could be something as simple as having a mentor and assist you in life and going forward.
Powerful. Anel, because what I've sensed or seen in my own life is that we're all exposed to things, and we all have to deal with trauma or loss or disappointment and those things on a daily basis, or the loss of a loved one or a job, or in this pandemic period, people lost things on every side, and relationships and all of these things. And if you do not have someone, I think the great scheme of things is that we isolate. And because we don't know that other people are dealing with similar things, we can isolate, we go into a place of depression, we don't know who we can reach out to, and becomes a very lonely place. But if you've got someone, a mentor, or someone who has got your best interest at heart, but they're not just going to pie you, they're not just going to say to you, oh, jy's so mooi, alles is so pragtig, alles is net reg, but it's really the close friend, someone who wants to see you achieve things, that will even point out your flaws or give you that not positive criticism, how do you,
like objective view.
Exactly,
To
want to see you uplift and get to a next place. And so that's very important, that we have people who can speak into our lives. And I think that's something that people shy away from, because I don't want to be corrected. I don't want anyone to tell me I know the best. But that's not necessary. If you want to go, there's that saying that says if you want to go fast, then you can go alone. But if you want to go far in life, then go with people who are having your same interest at heart, or your best interest at heart. So Anel, if we can delve into something a bit deeper, and if I can ask you, what is one of the greatest challenges that you have been through in your life where you really needed to hold on to the power of God, or where he became such a reality to you, where you knew that if it's not for the Lord, I will not be able to sustain or go through this?
Yeah, I think, Chantell, well, I think during the pandemic, I think that was definitely a time when, God really guided me as well. So I think that has been quite challenging. Not necessarily the pageant business, but I do have another business as well. So both businesses basically came to a halt during the pandemic. So, but luckily with the other business, it was just for a matter of, I think it was about a month or two, and then we could continue again. So we're very thankful for that. As we go through life, I think we get sometimes challenges you never ever thought will happen to you. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a divorce. It could be your business. It could be your children. Things just come across your path, and you just have to, in a way, deal with that. So in my life up till now, I think things have been pretty good. I can say that. But the pandemic definitely brought a lot of challenges, and but mainly in business that the challenges came. I'm very thankful to God that I've got a fabulous husband. I've been married for 23 years, so I didn't ever have any problems on that side. But yeah, I think life just will throw challenges at you, and you just have to hang on, and you just need to trust. The thing is, you have to trust God. You have to trust the Holy Spirit also to guide you through those difficult times that you find yourself in. So we can go back to mentors. Yes, mentors are important, but in my case, it was definitely the hand of the Lord that just helped me and pulled me through all my challenges that I had to face in my life.
So maybe on that note, because I sense that you are a spiritual child of God, how do you live out your love for Jesus in a world where anyone can come to your pageant? They don't have to be of a certain religion, I believe, and they come from all sorts of backgrounds and so forth. But how are you that shining light? How are you the salt and the light just in your daily life?
Chantell, I think it's a matter of respect for all people. It's also respect for all religions. I am definitely a Christian. I love Jesus Christ, and I've got a very strong faith in God. But it's about respecting other people. It's about respecting other religions, and when we have that respect for each other, then we all can work together. I mean, God created everyone. So we can definitely work together, and it's all, prayer is a main part also of my life. I mean, as a believer, that it guides you in the decisions that you have to make.
Come on. I love it. And I know that someone watching right now, or maybe the rebroadcast, you're listening to the podcast, and perhaps you've been wondering, because what I've seen is many times when we are set on our vantage point, our viewpoint of life, and we are passionate about the Lord, then we think that we should get out of the secular world. Or as a businesswoman, no, you should leave that, you should sow that, you should give everything away, you should become a missionary, and that is your place now. But that is not. We want to challenge that mindset. I believe that Anel will also say to you, there is no use in you giving up everything and then becoming a missionary, because God has called you in a certain area to specifically have influence. And I strongly believe we, the church that we are running, Dominion Church, is all about dominion. God called us to have rule and reign in every area, every sphere of influence of society. So I want to challenge people out there. Do not give up your talents. Do not give up even your beauty. You might have thought, is this just vanity that I'm so beautiful? People might have always said to you, nee, asseblief, jy moet net iets anders doen. Modeling or beauty is just, it's vain. But like Anel said, that you have been given the skill set, the beauty, the whatever, for a purpose, so that you can advance the kingdom with what is in your hand. And that is all what she stands for. But now I want to ask you, Anel, does pageantry come with criticism for you personally? Is there criticism or people that does not agree with beauty and pageantry?
Yes, we definitely get that these days still. But I think pageantry came a long way the past 10 years. I think 10 years ago, the stigma was quite hectic out there, quite bad about pageants. I think we did come a long way since then, but we might still get, definitely people who feel that there's no place for pageants in life, especially married women. Why do they enter pageants? Why would they like to do it? So you still get that stigma, but yeah, like I said, pageants really have come a very long way. It's not just about walking out onto a stage and winning a crown. If you think pageants are like that these days, then you must definitely follow our pageants, that you can see what pageants are all about. It's about determination, hard work, fun as well. But it's definitely more than that, Chantell.
So the woman that can you think of an example of someone who came in, who entered, and who maybe they won or went to semifinals or finalists, whatever, or not, but that they were transformed from a place of insecurity, and maybe you can think of many of those, but insecurity, brokenness perhaps, and how through the journey of this pageant and everything that you provide, and the mentorship and the exposure and the character development, how you've seen individuals almost transform from a caterpillar into a butterfly once they understood who they are and could stand and learn to understand their voice, and that they can do something with what they've been given.
Yes, Chantell, we have every year we see that, not only in our title holders, but definitely in all our contestants. We always say to the ladies, if you compare the photo you've taken on the day of the first workshop on semi-finals level, and you compare that to the photo of yourself at the grand finale, it is a huge difference. The ladies, they all transform into an empowered, fabulous, phenomenal women. Not so much on the outer side, but also definitely on the inside. It's about self-growth and self-development. So we do see that. Yes, I've seen most of my title holders as well. We had ladies from, that came from a domestic violence background that won a title, and then they went to represent South Africa overseas. We've seen that. And it's amazing to see the growth in those ladies, how they just develop into something they always wanted to be. The pageant is about becoming who you always wanted to be, and we create the platform for that. I also want to come in there and just say that it's definitely sometimes quite challenging as well. It doesn't come easy. It is hard work. Pageants are hard work, but they are fun. And as long as you know why you're entering, what is your motto, what is your reason for entering, then you'll definitely reach success. For us, success is not only that crown at the end of the day. The success is you becoming the person you always wanted to be during the process.
Wow. So practically, if someone is sitting there or listening right now and there is something stirring within them, oh my goodness, I want to endeavor to perhaps get into Mrs. Universe next year, I want to enroll. What are the requirements, or just some of the requirements for someone who wants to enter into Mrs. Universe?
The requirements are ladies between 22 and 55 years old, and married, divorced, and widowed. So those are the requirements.
No experience in modeling or certain
No.
lengths or weight limits
No,
or
not at
anything?
all. We don't have any weight or height requirements. No experience needed. We take you through the process. We host workshops and seminars where we prepare our ladies for the semi-finals and then going on to the finals as well. When you win the crown, then we take you through a process and a program to prepare you for the international pageant. I must also say I've got a fabulous team on board this year. That's part of the Mrs. Universe South Africa pageant, and we've got a fabulous international team as well. That's at the moment we're working with our Queen Yulita Nell Marais. So as you go through the different stages of the pageant, we have very specific workshops and mentors that will assist you in each phase of the pageant.
So there's so much help, but then you also have to come to the party. There's things that you have to do. There's community work. I believe there are sponsorships that you have to get because obviously you have to fund this process. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about the funding or the process of sponsorships?
Yes, people can go onto our website and they can go and have a look and see what the requirements are once you become a semi-finalist. We're very open about it. You have to be able to raise sponsorships. So we actually partner with your sponsors and we advertise the sponsors. Chantell, the journey, it's a costly journey. We run a business and we expect our contestants also to see themselves as a business and the principles of a business. So you have to raise sponsorships to cover the cost of your journey in the pageant, but it can really be so exhilarating and so much fun to, get your sponsors on board and also to get people to believe in you, people to believe in your cause, people who believe in you to take the crown at the end of the day. That is what it's about. That is the fun part of the pageant. When you approach your sponsors, so they need to, like I said, bring their sponsors on board. We have a set amount that they have to raise in sponsorships on semi-finalist level and also on finalist level. All that information is available on our website. Then also charity work is very important for, like we mentioned earlier, our ladies get involved with charity work. And then also we want to see our ladies, excel in the marketing aspect of the pageant as well, where they market their own sponsors and they also market our sponsors, because that is what it's about. It's about stepping outside of your comfort zone and have different experiences that you've never had before. And during the process, you grow as a person and you meet so many amazing women. It's about building our sisterhood. It's about building our teams. And the ultimate goal is then to go and represent South Africa. If you do not take the crown, still, like I said earlier, it's about the journey. It's about maybe you want to go on to another pageant or maybe you want to enter again. So ladies can enter, they definitely can come back and try again for the crown.
That's also very interesting. So Anel, quickly, what is the website where people can go and get some more information?
Our website is www.mrsuniversesa.com.
Universesa.com. I'm going to put it on the screen for those who are watching, and then you can go and get all the information. Prepare yourself ahead of time because, like Anel said, everything is there. So mrsuniversesa.com, is that right? So you can go and check it out. And what you can do is prepare yourself ahead of time because currently they're in the process. They've got their semifinalists. And what you can also do is go to the Instagram, go to the Facebook pages, see the journey of the individuals, look at people, how they develop, look at how they gain their sponsorships. It's always better if you want to get something done. You've now got the ability of foresight and not just hindsight. So you can already see how you need to equip yourself. Have your mind go according to sponsorships that you might, or people that you might, businesses that you might want to interact with in future and things like that. Start developing yourself. You'll gain your confidence. And I think it's a great opportunity ahead of time to follow these journeys. And then I just want to lastly ask you, we've covered so many wonderful things. And then the sisterhood, you say something. Do you see that there's a camaraderie between women where, because normally I think people think in their minds that a lot of women together can never be a good thing. But constantly I see through all of these pageants and the Mrs. SA finalists who have been speaking to as well, everyone is saying that they have found that the people are not backbiting, they're not catty, especially the higher they go or the closer they get to the final stages. I think their character has been developed so much, and they're really with each other, even though they know that they are working on themselves. Do you also see things like that, Anel?
Yes, that's something we speak about at our first workshops. It's very important for our ladies to support each other. Once we can support each other, then we can also be successful. So it's not about competing with the lady next to you. It's not about comparing yourself. It's so important to run your own race in a way, but also supporting another person. We can't all be the same. I mean, you cannot compare yourself to any other women. It's impossible. It comes back to the gifts and the talent that God gave you. We're all so different. We all can't be the same. So why do we have to then, compete against each other? We don't have to. We support each other in a supportive sisterhood, and we become friends. That is what it's about. Yes, our ladies, they all want to win the crown, and we wish it for all of them, but it's about the journey, and it's about becoming friends. It's about supporting each other. If we support each other, we don't have any reason then to feel we have to compete. You can't compete with anyone else. You only compete with yourself. And that's something we speak about at our first workshops, to guide our ladies on the journey, because it's a new journey for them. It's also a new experience for them. So most of them have never done it before. So we need to guide our ladies, and that so that they understand what is the purpose, why I'm doing this. And the reason for me doing a pageant is for me to become the person I always wanted to become the best me, not to compete with someone else. At the end of the day, you don't know what the judges are looking for. So you can just be yourself, and you can just enjoy the journey. That's also something we bring in with the Miss Universe South Africa pageant. Our slogan there is "Celebrate You." So it's about celebrating yourself. Focus on yourself, but also then support each other.
Wow. So, I said that the people don't know what the judges are looking for. So I believe there are multiple facets in the judging aspect of it, that beauty must only be also a fraction of it, especially because there's different body sizes and shapes and personalities and so forth. And then obviously there's the criteria of the sponsorships that you have to get, because you said this is also a business model, and people have to understand that this is not just a charity, this is a business. So are there certain things that there's specific criteria that you could share that does lead to the winning?
Yeah, I just want to come back to that. We prepare our ladies as best as we can for the judging rounds. But what I'm meaning by you don't know what the judges are looking for.
Yes.
It's to stop that feeling of trying to be someone you're not, and not to think that the judges are maybe looking for the current queen or someone similar to the current queen.
Powerful.
So we prepare them as best as we can when we're taking them through the journey. Like you said, sponsorships, charity work, marketing, it's all part of their scoring. We call it the preliminary scoring. And then then they go into interviews, and then they also do a presentation. And then after that, we have the on-stage competition. So we prepare them as much as we can, but it's to feel comfortable within your own skin. And just be yourself.
So I sense that authenticity is very important in this journey as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then just lastly, the prelims takes place, all of those. Then you said that they have to have a presentation. Does that come down also to presenting skills, maybe public speaking skills? Is that a requirement for people?
Yes, the Mrs. Universe South Africa pageant has a forum on domestic violence and abuse as part of the pageant, the international pageant as well as our South African pageant. So at the finals, our ladies will have to present on domestic violence and abuse. And at the international pageant, it forms part of a forum. It's a whole day where ladies from across the world do their presentations on the cause. So our ladies, yes, definitely public speaking. So they go into the interviews, and then they also have the presentation on domestic violence and abuse.
Okay, and then lastly, when it comes to the semi-finals and finals in Mrs. Universe, are they also required to wear their swimsuit as well as their evening wear and gowns and things like that? Or is swimsuit part of it?
Yes, swimsuit is definitely part of it on semi-final level and on finalist level. So at the semi-finals, our ladies will be judged in swimsuit and the interview and the presentation, and then on finalist level, at the grand finale, our ladies will be judged in swimsuit, national costume, and then evening wear.
And is that something
and then,
that
the interview and the presentation as well?
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the final, the grand finale, the gown and the swimwear and so forth, is that their own choice, or is that given to them to wear?
On semi-final level, it will be their own choice, but on finalist level, then we provide swimsuits. The national costume, they have to provide that themselves, and then the evening gown, we usually provide that as well.
Okay, so it goes according to your size, say for example 34 or 38 or whatever, but then you get your gown.
Yes, we get sponsors on board for the evening gown competition.
All right. That's very, very interesting. It's good to ask these questions because it's things that one never even think about. How does it actually work? And then your panel, lastly, your panel of judges, do they consist of previous winners as well, or people in beauty industry or business people? How do you get your panel of judges together?
Our panel of judges will be previous winners, and then also people within the business community for the 2023 pageant.
Fantastic. And if people just wants to come and attend the grand finale or the or the prelims, do they also buy their tickets via your Mrs. Universe SA website?
Chantell, no, not yet. We are confirming our venues soon for the grand finale of next year. Our semi-final judging will be taking place on the 4th of March. In Johannesburg, 4th of March 2023, and then our grand finale, that we will confirm that very soon, but it will also be taking place in Johannesburg.
Okay, and maybe on that, I said many times it's not the last one, but how important is it for you, the location where you're from? Because many of the things happen in Johannesburg, Pretoria, and so forth. So what about a person that is coming from Beaufort West or something like that? Is it possible for people coming from a small town or from other areas to be able to get to everything that is required in their pageant journey?
Yes, definitely. We publish our calendar of events well in advance. So before the ladies enter, then they can know exactly, which dates do they need to, put aside or in their diaries, block them out, so that they know when they will be required to be in Johannesburg for whether it's the workshops or the semi-final judging and the grand finale. So we've got those dates on the website as well. And our ladies, they do travel from across South Africa. So it is not a problem. I think if you know you're in the run for an international title, I think you really plan everything so that you will be able to achieve that. Also, ladies can get sponsorships on, traveling. In the past, we had a lady from, I think it was from Humansdorp, and she got a petrol sponsor who sponsored all her petrol, traveling costs to come to Johannesburg for all the workshops and, all the high events as well. So definitely, awesome. If you've got the dates well in advance, you can definitely plan according to that. And again, it comes in to go for the title. Why are you doing it? So, like I said, our ladies are from across South Africa, and it's amazing to see the enthusiasm also of the ladies.
It's so wonderful to speak to you. And I believe that today you shed light on so many things that people might have been wondering about, even those silent critics who thought, this is just so vain. But now you understand that these women actually go through such a process of transformation. It is hard work. I don't want to necessarily say blood, sweat, and tears, but everything in life that is valuable does take you through a process of refinement, of chipping away at certain character elements that's not there, to push you to become perhaps a businesswoman where you've never been that, or to get out of your comfort zone to go and gain sponsors. So the people that you see in these pageants, I think you can actually have a great amount of respect for them, because they're stepping out and they're doing something of value. And at the end of the day, they're giving back to the community and giving hope to other people who might be lost and feel like there's no hope. So I really do have such respect for you, Anel, and I thank you for pushing forward, even in the hard times, that you didn't, through the pandemic, say, okay, maybe this is not going to work again. Because I know that this year, even, there's this amount of women whose dreams are about to come true, and you're so instrumental in that. So then let Lassie just talk about your business, your jewelry business. I want to mention that, and I want to put it on here as well, that people can go and find it. Can you tell us about your jewelry business, and about Kira and Jewelry, and where we can find it, where we can go and support your business, and so forth?
Thank you, Chantell. Yes, I do have another business. I run both businesses at the same time. It's called Kira and Jewelry. It's spelled Keira, and then second word Anne. Jewelry. I started the business in 2017, and in 2018 we went into our first YDE stores, and at the moment we are in all 19 stores nationwide.
Wow.
So the brand is exclusively sold in YDE stores. It is a fashion accessory brand. So yeah, that's it in short.
Fantastic. So let me just put that up there. So it's Kira and Jewelry, available at the YDE stores. There must be a young designers emporium close to you, and I want you to go and support. Now you know who is the owner, the mastermind, or one of the leaders of that. It's none other than Anel Deswardt. So go specifically. If you go to the mall, go to YDE, ask them about this Kira and Jewelry range, and go and support it. And then also, I believe that today you've gained so much insight. Perhaps just there was a little seed sown to know that greatness can come from you. Because Anel, I want you to, if you don't mind, share with the people that when you entered Mrs. Commonwealth, were you in your 20s, or how old were you?
Chantell, I was 37 when I entered. Wow. So I can truly say I did my first pageant at the age of 37, and I won my first pageant at the age of 37. And Ooh. It is never too late. It's really never too late. You can do, if you put your heart and your mind to something, you can definitely go for it. As long as you've got energy and you've got support system and you got to believe in yourself, then you can definitely, and definitely the hand of God as well in your life, and you can achieve anything. But yeah, I think it just comes to show that it's never too late to follow your dreams, and it's never too late to start a business as well.
That's so powerful. I believe that you've really sown seed today of greatness and hope, and in the people of South Africa and the world. So you can go and even follow Anel. You can go and search for her on Instagram, her Instagram handle, and follow the journey. May she be an encouragement to you. There she said that you're never too old. And I think we many times have this mindset of we're the wrong skin color, we're the wrong gender, we're the wrong whatever. You are not. If God created you the way that you are, he's got a purpose and a plan for your life. And if you will submit yourself to his blueprint, then you will succeed. That's the promises in his word. But the problem we face is that we open up our ears and our eyes to all the opinions out there, and we think that must be true for us as well. So I want you to, even like she said in the beginning, she didn't have a mentor, but she had this ingrained leadership ability. And if you're a leader, we need leaders. It's very hard to pioneer something. It's easy now to jump on board and say, okay, I want to join the pageant. But Anel was there, and she saw a gap in the market, and she knew she wanted to start a business, and she pioneered. And it's always on Sunday we spoke about this fact of it's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we say that God is a generational God, which he is. But everyone wants Jacob's blessings. We want to get on the bandwagon where Jacob was at the receiving end, but it was much harder for the Abraham, the one that had to dig the wells, the one that has to start the business. So I want to encourage you today, dig deep, because if God has given you that vision, it doesn't matter how the economy looks. It is time for you. In the pandemic, I also think about this. There were people that lost everything. There were people that said that there's no hope. But then there were others in the same situation, same world that they live in, but they saw opportunity and they created wealth like none other. So it depends on the perspective, the eyes that you look at the situation from. So may you always believe that something great is at hand if you will put your hand to the plow. Amen. So that was
Awesome.
fantastic.
Great.
This was the National Director of the Commonwealth. Let me just say this correctly. Commonwealth International. It is Mrs. Universe South Africa. Go and follow Anel Deswardt. And it was a great, great time with you. Thank you, Anel.
Thank you so much, Chantell. I really enjoyed it, and take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Awesome. Great. Bye-bye.
Bye.